you most amazing top 10ers, welcome back to another video. I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Landon.
Yay, we're back in another video together. Woo!
So how many of you guys have been on a plane? I know a lot of you guys have been. You've been on many planes, I've been on many planes. Well, where did you guys fly to? Let us know in the comment section below. And I've been on many places, but sometimes the plane rides can be scary.
I totally agree. I go on a lot of planes. I'm very afraid.
So we don't mean to scare you guys in this video, bring back some like bad memories or situations you might have been on, but saying all that, these things, they don't happen often at all. In fact, these situations rarely happen. So you guys don't have much to worry about. So this right here is the top 10 scariest things that could happen during your flight.
So starting us off at number 10, we have sitting next to a creepy or gross passenger. If you're traveling alone, this can be especially concerning. Being on a plane often involves sitting next to a stranger for hours on end, so if they're creepy or gross or just plain weird, the whole journey can be a little bit scary. Imagine waking up after a nap on the plane to find the guy or girl next to you just like staring at you. I also hate when they accidentally or purposefully touch you, like this is my armrest and we are not sharing. Also, flying is a time when you need to trust the people around you, so if someone's weird or a bit sketchy, you don't want to leave your stuff by them, just in case when you get up and go to the washroom, they steal things.
Number 9, let's talk about turbulence. Now this can be a very scary situation because turbulence is when there's a change in pressure. This causes the plane to like bounce around. I mean, this is so crazy because you're thousands of feet in the air. Sometimes the plane loses altitude and drops several feet very quickly and you get like that roller coaster feeling in your stomach. You're like, oh my god, I'm about to die. Your stomach gets all knotted up, your life is just flashing before you, but you realize that yeah, this is pretty normal, everything is pretty safe. Well, the chance of a plane going down during turbulence is very rare. Planes are actually designed for turbulence. The only scary part is not knowing when you're going to be served food next, because during this time, all service stops. You never know how long the turbulence is going to last for, and if you got to go to the bathroom really badly, well, yeah, you're in a really rough situation going on. And also, you're in turbulence, the plane is shaking, and you're trying to hold in your pee. I mean, there's nothing scarier than that.
I hate turbulence. It really scares me, so look. So moving on to number 8, we have seeing someone acting suspiciously. Now this is quite different to someone being a creep. This is more, you see someone on the plane looking shifty and behaving in a weird way. This will freak you out and you'll spend the whole flight worrying. For example, I was recently on a flight where the guy in front of me was praying the whole way through, touching his heart and doing the crucifix symbol. And I was like thinking, do you know something that I don't? Are we going down here? Should I start praying? Like, dude, seriously.
Now at number 7, we have, things are about to get serious because we have a bomb on the plane. This one is everyone's worst nightmare. A bomb on a plane isn't something new. This has actually happened many times and it's sad to say that. We hear about these things all the time, about airplanes having bombs on board. Take a look at this picture right here. This is a passenger plane that had a huge hole on the side of the plane. This was believed to be from a suicide bomber. There was many unanswered questions to this event, but apparently the bomb went off and created a big hole in the plane, and the suicide bomber was the only passenger to get like sucked out right out of the plane. So talk about karma. Luckily the pilot was able to make an emergency landing and everyone on board was okay.
How is that at number 7, Landon? That's like my biggest plane fear. Slightly less dramatic at number 6, we have food poisoning from airplane food. Back in 2012, needles were found in a Delta airline turkey sandwich, which is pretty intense. Needles, like, really? There have also been countless reports of airplane food poisoning throughout the history of commercial aviation. What I'm getting at here is that any food is at risk of contamination. Even though it's unlikely, mistakes can be made with sanitation. Can you imagine being the person who was stabbed by the needle that they bit into while they were flying? This actually happened. If any contamination happened, eating something dodgy on a plane would be an absolute nightmare, especially if the food poisoning kicked in while you were mid-flight and you needed to use the toilet frequently. That just wouldn't be ideal.
Okay, maybe bombs on a plane should have been a lot like closer to number 1 on this list. But now at number 5, let's talk about flying in harsh weather conditions. Now this can be very scary, and I remember one time me and my fiance were flying through a thunderstorm and I'm thinking like, is this real life right now? Are we supposed to be doing this right now? And I couldn't help to think like, what would happen if we were struck? So I actually researched it and nothing happens. Like if you get struck, the plane still flies and you get to your destination. destination. It would have to be a really like a freak accident for the plane to actually go down. Planes are designed to withstand lightning, so nothing would happen. But still, if I'm flying in lightning, I'm still gonna get freaked out because like you're seeing the flashing. It's so bright. You're right there, and the thunder is so loud.
Oh my god, I actually was on a plane that was struck by lightning twice as I was flying from Thailand to England, and on the descent it was struck and it was so dramatic, like the noise it made. Whew, but like you said, planes are built to withstand that, so I was fine. So coming into number 4, we have oxygen masks dropping. I would absolutely freak out if my oxygen mask dropped in the middle of the flight. Like, it does happen, but it would be so scary. This happens when there's a change in cabin pressure and you're in danger of passing out if you do not get extra oxygen. What is also scary is that the chemicals used to generate the oxygen release a burning smell when the masks drop, and even though it's safe to breathe, that would be very alarming. What is also scary is that there's only 15 minutes of oxygen in the tank, meaning that the pilots would need to get down to a safe altitude pretty quickly. If not, you could die.
I'm still questioning my own list here because bombs are at number 7. I'm thinking I put it there, I scripted it because it's not as common as these other things, but right now we're at number 3, and I know this also doesn't happen often, but I've been hearing some stories about it. But some places in the world that I'm super afraid to fly to, like this is like legit, because I have a small fear of being shot down by terrorists. Is it just only me, or is this a common thing? In the Middle East, they have been known to shoot down some planes, and some planes were passenger planes. So flying over the Middle East is very scary, but I do have a story that took place over Ukraine and around Russia. One of the most recent big cases of this was back in 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, if you guys remember that was actually shot down by a Russian-made air missiles near Ukraine. All 283 passengers and 15 crew members were killed on board. There were also 80 children on the plane. So it just seems like these days you never know what can happen. So there's a lot of places that I just don't choose to visit, like Syria or you know those places down there. Even if it's just like a flyby of the Middle East, I'm not even going to the Middle East. It's still very scary.
So you've talked about bombs and terrorists gunning down a plane, but you haven't talked about potential terrorists on the flight, which is a whole different issue coming in at number 2. We are of course talking about hijacking. Imagine being on an aircraft that a terrorist is planning on holding up. Even if they aren't successful, which they probably won't be, the whole situation would be absolutely terrifying. Air safety and security is very high these days, but it does still happen. Most recently in the German Wings case of Andreas Lubitz, who was a co-pilot that hijacked and crashed a plane, which I guess leads us to Landon's final point, which I didn't even want to hear because I'm very scared.
And finally, we've made it to number 1, and I think this is the scariest thing that could happen while you're on a plane, and that's crashing. A lot of times plane crashes usually are deadly, but there are people who have survived plane crashes and live to tell their story of what happened. Back in 1987, there was a plane crash that had one survivor on it. She was known as the sole survivor, and she was just 4 years old. She was a little baby at this time. After 26 years, Cecilia Crocker talked about this experience. Listen.
I think about the accident every day. When I look in the mirror, I have visual scars, my arms and my legs, and I have a scar on my forehead.
I mean, that's really crazy when you think about it, but you guys should watch the documentary. I'll make sure to put the links in the description down below.
So I think maybe you put a bomb at number 7 just to like surprise, like a bomb would be. Like, you know, no one expected it to be at number 7, but surprise, bombs. But guys, ultimately, don't worry, air travel is still the safest way to travel, so this is just, you know, worst case scenarios.
So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys aren't too scared. Like we said before, this stuff doesn't really happen that often. It really doesn't. But thanks for watching this video. We'll see you guys in the next most amazing top 10 video.
Yes, we will.